Hey everyone, you're listening to InfoQuench with Jeff,
and Amy,
a podcast with tips to make your life easier.
covering pop culture, parenting, travel, minimalism, and more.
Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Amy.
And what are we going to do this podcast?
We're going to talk about us.
Us. Oh, wow. People are going to be fascinated with that stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty fascinating. This will be volume 1 of Catching Up with Jeff and Amy. I realize that, we're, I think, 25 episodes or so into this.
Yeah.
And we really haven't said a whole lot about who we are.
That's right.
Little tidbits along the way, but I thought it would be good to sort of let people know what we've been up to. And, yeah.
One thing's for sure is we love to travel, so it's been, it's kicking into gear now as far as like our summer travel is concerned.
Yes. And that makes it always a little bit more challenging to try to fit podcasts in and to try to do, we like to do some research
we're squeezing this one in like a half hour before I have to go to work. So no mistakes, no do-overs.
No do-overs. We rarely do do-overs. You get to hear
true.
all the mistakes, the good, bad, and ugly. So hope you enjoy them.
Warts and all, everybody. Warts and all.
So the podcast has already evolved in the short time that we've been doing it. So we launched this at the beginning of the year, the beginning of February, I guess.
Yeah.
And really, the original goal was to focus, each episode on a specific topic or theme and provide information on that. And we've sort of broadened that a bit because we had different things that we wanted to talk about. And, but we still like to try to go back to the roots and do some episodes that really, maybe provide a little education on a certain topic. In doing that, we were really focused on the topics, and we want to tell you a little bit about us. So if you ever read the description about InfoQuench on our website, we have our website, infoquench.com, which really is, just a one-stop shop for all of our episodes. But there's an About page as well that talks briefly about us, and it talks about the fact that Jeff is a laid-back husband, and I'm a not-so-laid-back wife.
Well, I don't know how I got those genes, but I am quite laid-back, probably from my mother. My mother's pretty laid-back, and she always thinks about others before herself, and she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. And I'd like to think that I got a little bit of that,
Yeah, and Jeff, if you haven't picked it up from the podcast, Jeff is very laid-back, and I am completely aware at my ripe age that I am who I am, and I'm not laid back at all.
You can be, though. Well,
I can relax for sure, but I definitely am, I like things a certain way. I'm a detailed person, and that's why I like to do the research on episodes and sort of be the one who sort of walks us through the outline. But it's a good balance for us because, Jeff, you keep me grounded.
Yeah, if we, relied on my brain to get everything scheduled, we would never do a podcast because I just am so bad with scheduling and all that. And you're really good at it, so it works really well. There's a nice little balance there, if you will. It's the yin and yang. You are like the frenetic.
I'm the yang.
Kind of, yes, and I'm the yin.
I do the yanging when Charlie's not yanging.
So it's like laid back. Yeah. And then the
yang.
Frenetic. Yang.
Frenetic, eh? Charlie's our cat, by the way, if you haven't listened to other episodes.
Yes, Charlie is our cat.
And he does a crap load of yanging.
Yeah, he'll probably be starting soon here.
Yeah.
He always has something to say, and it's always the same thing, I think. It's just like, what are you guys doing? Meow. That kind of thing.
Jeff and I actually just celebrated our 8-year wedding anniversary.
That's right, 8 year.
Yeah. So
8 years we've been married.
And the other 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's been a great 10 years. We actually met online years ago.
That's right, online. Can you believe that? A lot of people meet online now. But then, I guess they still did, but it was still a little odd.
Yeah, well, we did it. Well, I don't even know if it's still a big thing, but plenty of our listeners
because it was
free.
Have nobody wants to pay, so it's free.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, that's true. Luckily, we were both cheapskates, and that's what brought us together.
Yeah,
I know. It was kismet.
Yeah. I was on there for, I don't know, not even a month, and I think you were on there for a little while, and I just loved. I remember you telling the stories about all the interesting characters that you met along the way. Let's just say it that way.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
It's pretty funny.
I put in the legwork.
You put in the legwork, and I was just on there. Hey, I remember just like texting you or like sending you a message saying, let's just go for a drink. Let's skip all this chatty stuff. Like and we did.
And even though your profile made you appear to be.
Yeah, I didn't get that, but you thought I was pretentious.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, there was a line on your profile that said,
"Oh yes,
people who prefer to or would rather talk than listen bore me."
That's just my way of like weeding out all the gabbers, people who just talk and don't listen to what other people say.
I'm trying to keep a straight face as you're saying this to me.
I'm just joking.
Because we sometimes we fight to get a word in edgewise when we're doing podcasts. It's we worried about there being some dead time when we were starting this, and it really isn't the case. We try to stick to 30 minutes.
Yeah, what's funny is we worried about so many different things when we started, and then as soon as we just laid back and just let things flow, it became the thing that we wanted it to be, the podcast. I feel like it's just sort of came together.
Yeah. Well, I think at the beginning we were really focused on a niche. Like they always say you have to go after a certain target audience, and that your topic has to be very specific. But we didn't. I mean, there's so many things that box us in life.
Yeah.
That confine us. And this was our creative outlet. We didn't want to. If we wanted to cover a topic, we didn't want to have to worry about whether or not it fit into a specific niche or. We just wanted to be able to
talk about whatever we want, right? And just and have it hopefully the people who are listening to us find it interesting. I don't know. Like I hope so.
And to have enough variety too in the topics that, now that we have quite a few episodes under our belt, that if somebody doesn't, say for instance, if they're not interested in a topic that's specifically on parenting because
they have no kid.
Right. Or they are not, they don't travel. So those episodes they can skip on to another one. So whether they're, listening to me mess up acronyms in that episode
or me mess up everything, it's just fun. Let's go back to the reason why we wanted to do the podcast in the first place. It was just to do something artistic together and, spend some time just talking about things and sharing our ideas. I mean, that's what the world is pretty much now. Like you go online, everybody's sharing their ideas on Facebook. Well, why not? Do it in a podcast,
Well, and I think I was actually surprised that people listened.
I know, and I'm still surprised at that.
Surprised that there are
they're
people
probably
listening.
Tuning out right now that we're talking about them listening, But just keep listening. We eventually will say something funny or something interesting. That's the way we go.
Yeah, just wait for it. If we haven't covered anything funny or interesting in 25 episodes, I'm sure we will in the next 25.
Well, hopefully we do it this episode. Hopefully we have something funny to say or something interesting to say, and that's really all we try to do with this podcast is just. Actually just spend time. Like it's a one-way kind of thing because we're talking to people that we can't even see who's listening, but it's a conversation going on, right? I mean, we love feedback. So if you want to, give us some feedback on the podcast, definitely drop us a line anywhere.
Yeah, we have a few conversations that sort of happen off the podcast through our social media outlets and. We're always plugging them, but we're really trying to grow a following on Instagram.
Yes.
And I'm loving doing stories. I tend to be the one who looks after more of our social media accounts.
I don't do any of that stuff. You're right. Yeah.
Than Jeff. So, but yeah, Insta stories are so much fun. Like the stories on Instagram.
It's pretty fascinating what you can do.
Well, and it's so easy. If you are on Instagram and you haven't tried doing a story, it's super fun. And you don't even have to do a tutorial or anything. It just, start pressing some buttons and figuring it out. And it's,
pretty intuitive.
You can do some pretty cool stuff. And so it's also really addictive. So I love watching other people's stories and getting, ideas and just getting a view into who they are as people. And so I've been trying to do a little bit more about that, show a little bit more about, who we are and family life. And it's been fun. Now, I haven't really done the same thing on Facebook. I haven't gotten into Facebook stories as much. I don't
I don't
seem to
think they're
see as many.
as popular, perhaps. I don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, for the amount of people that I'm connected through on Facebook, very small percentage do stories.
Yeah, isn't that odd? They just do it all on Instagram, probably because Instagram has all of the, templates that you need to do it, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that
well,
right?
I haven't even tried to do a story on Facebook, and sometimes
Yeah.
you can do posts on one social media outlet and easily share it across them. But
Yeah.
and we're also on Twitter. We tend to hop on Twitter just to sort of share new episodes, and we have a small following on Twitter, but it's nice. That seems to be more where we would get interaction with other fellow podcasters.
It's funny too, because I know we both share this. It's like, it's the most important thing, for example, isn't that, we get all kinds of followers or likes on Facebook or whatever. That's not really the whole goal of doing the podcast. It's literally just to have people listen and just enjoy it. Like we don't care about making money unless you want to, send us some or
No, that has never
or
been
sponsor us.
Never been our goal to do ads or anything as part of what we do.
Our end goal though is to get some kind of alcohol sponsorship, Aperol or
that wouldn't be. Yeah. I know, and we often joke about plugs for sponsorships and things like that, but no, I mean that's never been a goal of ours. We just really, we both have our full-time day jobs, so this is really just something that we're doing because we enjoy it, and
I'm
we
still kind of floored, to be honest, that people listen to it, that people actually listen to us talk for 30 minutes. That kind of floors me because, we'll get some feedback from people after we do a podcast, and they genuinely liked it. And that just I don't know why, that reaffirms to me that this is a good thing to do. Fun thing to do.
Yeah, I always say if there's even if there's one person who's listening each week, then that's worth it. Otherwise, it's just you and I having a conversation with a mic stuck between us.
Yeah, which is fine as well. I mean, we could just it would be funny if we just made these podcasts and we just listened to them on our own, walking around. Dum-de-dum.
That would be strange, wouldn't it?
I know, it would be really strange, but I'm sure people have done that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure of it.
And don't host it anywhere. So maybe a little bit more on the podcast. We're hosted on Libsyn. I did a lot of research on, because that's what I do. I did a ton of research on where to host. Libsyn seemed like an easy platform to work with, and it integrates well. It's picked up by a lot of other platforms. So what that means is that InfoQuench is, if you Google InfoQuench, you can find it in probably just about any platform that you're listening to podcasts, whether it's Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts through iTunes, Castbox,
everywhere.
Yeah,
really,
everywhere. And we were lucky enough to have 107.3 local FM, which is a local radio station here in St. John, New Brunswick, carry us as well. So that's part of the reason we usually stick to a 30-minute mark. We're in a 30-minute time slot every Wednesday from 1 to 1:30 on 107.3. So we it kind of gives us a little bit of a goal to be at to keep it within 30 minutes. I think some of our earlier episodes were a little longer.
They're playing them in succession of like when we recorded them, and we gave them we agreed to carry the podcast on the radio station a little late, so they're always behind the most current episode that we did.
Yeah, right? So if you missed a few episodes, it's a great way to catch up. Or if you just want to listen to us twice,
you could
twice.
Do that. You can just listen to us.
So we're really happy to have that partnership and for them to carry the podcast. And so the experience so far has been really fun. We have we've just been sort of dabbling, like I said, on social media, playing around with different topics. If there's certain topics that you would like to hear about, drop us a DM, and let us know, and we can try to cover it. One of the things that we wanted to talk about on this episode specifically, and this is completely self-serving because we want some accountability.
Okay.
This is day 2 of Jeff and I making a major lifestyle change.
It is pretty major. I think I'm detoxifying.
Yes. And so we're saying lifestyle. It's a diet. We're on a diet. You're not supposed to say diet.
It is a diet though.
But
really.
It's our
pretty hardcore.
Even Charlie agreed.
Yeah, Charlie's like, yeah, it's a diet.
But it's been a long time, I think, since Jeff's never been on a diet.
No, No, I
Yeah.
haven't. And I mean, it's my first full day today, and yeah, it's okay. It's going okay.
Well, so there's, we're using a local program, and there's, we go once a week for some guidance and some for some accountability, but we wanted to talk about it on our podcast, I guess, as a way to keep us accountable. We'll probably,
Just what we've been up to too. This is
Yeah.
catching up with Jeff and Amy.
so I guess we're both, it's always good to drop a couple of pounds. I'm looking to get a little extra energy, I feel like we could both just clean up our act in terms of our diet, because
Nothing wrong with eating better. And yeah, and you could eat better too, Charlie.
so I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun process. One of the things that we have to do is drink a ton of water.
Ton of water.
2
3 liters a day.
Yeah, 2 to 3 liters a day. Jeff thought it was a typo. I already drink a lot of water.
I did think it was typo. I'm like, that's bizarre. Like I hardly drink water, period. So I still, I mean, I'm going to have to work up to it. I just simply am. I drank maybe maybe a quarter of what I'm supposed to today. That's just what I'm drinking. Like I can't just drink water all the time.
I think it's easier for me. I've always loved water. I've drank it since I was a kid. I love it. It makes you feel good. And my mother always said, if you're sick, drink some water. It'll clean your system out. It's good for your skin. Water. It's good stuff. But I work in an office environment, and it's easy for me to just have a bottle of water on my desk and just keep sipping it all day, so I can get a lot of water into me without even really thinking about it too much. But I know it's a huge change for you. But
Yeah,
even
not
me, though,
having my chips and my rum and cokes and stuff is making me a little cranky, to be honest.
I know.
I'm
Yeah,
like-
we were both
a little
cranky last night. We sort of
today.
yeah.
Get it right. Just
Yeah,
joking.
we're still cranky. It's going to take a little while to, get
Well,
our blood
yeah.
sugars.
And now we're going, like we're going to do some traveling soon, and we can't. I don't know how we're going to keep up with this crazy ass diet.
We debated actually waiting until the end of the summer, but then there's always something,
No,
right? Then it would be like, oh, well, now we got to wait until after Christmas. Oh, it'd be good to do it as a New Year's resolution. But I read recently online, a few people talked about the fact that July 1st should be a time for setting intentions and for New Year's resolutions. Like Julia Wright may have done a
she
post
did.
on
That's
Twitter
right.
about it.
Host of Information Morning here
a
in
friend
St.
of-
John, New Brunswick.
So CBC. And a friend of ours, Raven Blue, had did one as well. His was actually, coincidentally, his birthday's July 1st. So
right,
his
yeah.
was to set, he had heard that you should set resolutions on your birthday. So I found that interesting.
That is
Instead of everybody
interesting.
kind of doing that January 1st
Or at
one,
least you
it's
can
just-
revisit the one that you made on New Year's. You can say, check in and say, how am I doing with this?
Yeah.
I said that I would stop drinking, and I'm drinking right now. So maybe I should change that, Or you're sitting there on the couch with a bag of potato chips, and you wanted to cut them out. See, look, see, did you notice that I'm bringing up things that I can't do?
I know. Try not to dwell on it, honey.
It's so funny. I didn't even realize that, but after I said that, I'm like, yep, alcohol and chips. Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people have, they kind of crap on resolutions and say that they're just not a good thing to do. But I've always enjoyed them. I love setting goals and even though you may not reach all of them, even if you're only good for a few months, it's better than no months.
No, I know, and I let's be honest, I was not happy with how my body had just let itself go over the time since I turned 40. Like it was just my metabolism slowed down to a trickle, and I wasn't gaining weight quickly, but I was gaining weight incrementally all the time, and then it was just all adding up. And so I was like, something had to be done. So anyway, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's
That's what I'm saying.
well, there's lots. I think it's a good time to it's just from a health perspective. It's good to get healthy. It's we have a 6-year-old son, Hux, so it's good to set a good example for him, and we can all use to eat a little healthier.
What really works though I feel that one of the things that works very, very well when it comes to a diet or whatever is that when you're held accountable, when you're like, okay, it's time to get on that scale and let's see what you're at, and then you have to own it.
Well, and we
Right
also
there.
have to keep a journal.
Yeah,
So
that's not fun
food
either.
journaling, if anyone's ever done it, is quite tedious, but it's also very eye-opening because you kind of see it there in black and white.
Yeah.
So we also have to track how many hours we sleep and how often we poop.
Yeah, and that's so fun. That's just a barrel of monkeys. This is going to be one of the most listened to podcasts we've ever done.
The water, even though, I drink water already, but the 2 to 3 liters is a lot. Like I spent,
It is.
I think, I had to make a lot of trips to the washroom today, and on my walk home,
You almost had an accident.
I had to run like the
Yeah.
last block because I was like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go pee. Yeah, this is probably a TMI episode, but that's okay. We wanted you to, know a little bit more about
Yeah.
us, so we're sort of sharing it. And
But you know
these
what?
are our struggles.
Having said all those things that I'm struggling with, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm ready to do this and see what happens. I want to see those pounds just float right off my belly. That's what I want to see.
Oh, and we did before pictures tonight.
And that wasn't fun either.
No, that was
Man,
awful.
it has not been a fun evening.
We did front, back, and profile.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I mean, when Amy was taking my photograph, I was, I tried to make the quintessential black and white kind of no smile, no face, just like
the
and
passport,
so that
passport photo
and so
look.
that when we do the after and it's all color and the sun's shining through the room and I got a big smile and I got a 6-pack, that'll be something else.
Another thing that we did that you just reminded me when you said that is that so Jeff and I recorded a little video for ourselves.
Yeah. Whose idea was this? This was your idea.
It was my
wasn't
idea.
it? This still cracks me up.
We recorded
We
it.
should play it. We should.
Well,
Oh, was there swearing in it? Maybe there
I
is.
can't recall. I'd have to almost.
We could play the audio. If so, I'll put it in right here.
Yeah. And if you didn't hear it just then, it's probably because there was something in there inappropriate. But what we decided, it was actually on our. So we recently had our anniversary, as I mentioned, and knowing that we were going to be starting this lifestyle change, we bloody gorged ourselves.
We got gas at this tiny little gas station with a little store in it, and we went in and and literally it was the ultimate in impulse buying, because I was like, cheddar chips, okay, all right, because we were just getting it all into us before we could no longer do it. And so we had Reese's peanut butter cups, chips,
we brought
sesame crackers, which are kind of healthy, I think. But
so we were away for the night in Moncton, and we had more food with us than you could eat in like a month.
And
well,
booze,
not a month,
because
probably
we stopped in
and we
Salisbury.
also we got weight. Yeah,
Whatever.
would you say enough to keep a rugby team going? They wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't leave the hotel sober after a week with the amount of alcohol we brought in. So I decided when we were there, we should do a little video recording. So we did a recording of our current selves talking to our future skinnier, healthier selves.
Like, how's it feel, man?
And just sort of congratulating ourselves on a job well done. So our plan is to, on our 9-year wedding anniversary, to watch that video, and hopefully we will have stuck with the plan.
We could record a new one of our skinny selves, making fun of the one that the one from the future, or the past rather. So you're getting all back to the future on us.
And then every wedding anniversary, we could see how do we compare. Are we?
Well, we did. We did that with the wine, right? When we got married, we had a bottle of our favorite wine, and we waited 5 years to open it.
Yeah. So what we did is, before we got married, we wrote each other a letter, and didn't show it to the other person. So I wrote a letter to Jeff, and I put it in a sealed envelope.
This is before a kid, before a house.
Well, yeah, before the wedding even took place, and we just really said where we thought we might be in 5 years, and then on our 5th wedding anniversary, so we put it in a box with a bottle of wine, our favorite bottle of wine, and which is just a wine that we had, I think, on our
Rudeberg.
Yeah, on
Wasn't
when
it?
Rudeberg from
It
South
was-
Africa. We'd
yeah.
had it actually. It
We had
happened
it-
at his wine bar. Peter Smith had.
Yes, we had that wine on our first date. Our first,
Yeah, or,
one of our first
one of our
dates.
first dates.
Yeah.
One of our first dates.
Perhaps a little too much of it, but anyways,
So
we wanted to
anyways,
relive that experience, and so
we put up that bottle of wine and the 2 letters and then on our 5th wedding anniversary, we read the letters to each other, which
Yeah.
is really cool.
yeah, it was really cool.
And then Jeff was like, we should do another one for 5 years from now. But then I'm like, well, what if one of us dies?
Yeah, and
And
that
then
would be a
there'd
little.
be a letter, and it would be really morbid.
Somebody drink that wine all by themselves.
And just the whole picture of that seemed really sad. I didn't want to
Well,
press
that-
it.
that
so
could have
no more
happened
letters.
in the first 5 years too of marriage.
I know, but
but
it
it
didn't.
didn't.
I crossed my
So-
fingers. I thought it was like a jinx.
Well,
I
now
almost
now
felt-
that you mentioned it, we're never going to do it again.
No, we're never going to do it again.
No, but we will watch our old fat selves make fun of our skinny selves,
Yes,
Yeah. or vice
thank our
versa.
skinny selves or
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, it was a fun thing we did because we'll see where we're at. And I, part of this too is you have to adjust your alcohol habits. And anyone who's listened knows that I have. Oh, I have to quickly. I was
Oh,
I was
go for
giving
it.
Hux a bath tonight.
Yeah.
And he has this like little bucket that he always fills with water and says it's different things like soup or,
Bathtub gin.
yeah. But well, tonight he called me into the bathroom and he's like, Mom, I made you an Aperol spritz. No word of a lie. He even said spritz.
Oh, I love it.
He's like, I made you an Aperol spritz. I'm like, oh, I might say Aperol spritz too much.
Yeah, you probably do.
And even though we joke about being sponsored, we're not sponsored. I just really love them.
I know you do, and you know what? You may. I think we're going to get to the point in this diet where we're able to drink on the weekends. Throughout the week, no, 0, right? But on the weekends, I bet you in moderation we're allowed to drink.
Yeah. See, I always-
Moderation. No, I'm just
everything.
joking.
No, well, and I've always enjoyed, I like a glass of red wine with dinner and
And this is
yeah.
to no offense to the people out there listening that don't drink. Awesome. Good for you.
yes.
We enjoy it every once in a while. That's all. Anyway, I just wanted to put that caveat in there.
Yeah, well, and yes, and it's yes, we just enjoy it every once in a while, and so this will be it'll again, it's an overall lifestyle change. We can do it, honey. I have faith in us.
I think we can do it too. So
I hope that as you as listeners,
It's-
thank you for listening to us ramble on.
Yeah,
we
this
did
is
want to
pretty
tell you a
much
little
a-
bit more about us. We'll call this Catching Up with Jeff and Amy Volume 1 because we'll maybe do another one down the road where we give you a further update
Yeah.
and talk a little bit more about what goes on in our lives so that we can connect a little bit with you, and we want you to connect with us on social media. So remember,
definitely.
check us out: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Share,
if you
share us
enjoy
around.
it, listening, please tell your friends because, we'd love more people to listen. So, spread the love.
We're on what, episode number 24 or something?
25. This might be 26.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I'd have to check the
Unbelievable that
number.
we've done that many. It's pretty
know.
cool.
I know. We've been pretty dedicated. We always release an episode every Tuesday, usually right around supper hour. So, watch for new episodes. And if, you can always subscribe through various platforms as well. So
Yep.
you can get a notification that way.
All right, on. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you in the next podcast.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Be sure to visit InfoQuench.com to subscribe and catch up on past episodes.
You can also check out InfoQuench on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Till next time.